So whenever I'm starting a book, I always start, rather than writing, I start drawing. And I don't necessarily know what I'm going to do or who I'm going to draw, so I will start like this. I'll draw a circle, and then I'll draw another circle, and their eyes. And I never know what's going to happen when I'm drawing. So you sort of slowly go along and see what or who emerges. So, starting to get a sense, maybe, of who this might be. And he's starting to get an expression here. So it looks like it might be a monster. It looks like it might be a monster who's hungry. I'm not sure what he's hungry for just yet. He's starting also, as well as being hungry, he looks as though he's quite polite. Like if he's going to eat you up, he's going to ask your permission first. Let's see who this is going to be. Give him some ears. And maybe a fine covering of hair. Just like this. So this is a character. And now when I've drawn him, I've got to decide who he is and what he's going to do, or she. Also, I will have, when I draw a character, I'll draw them hundreds of times. So I might draw them, for example, here, eating something up, or I'll try drawing him in different ways, just to sort of work out who he is, what sort of person he is. There is some more. I think that the main theme going on here is that he's hungry and he wants to eat something up. That's the general idea of this character. So I'll also maybe try and draw him in different ways. So I might get some ink and a pen. So with this book, Bedtime for Monsters, I actually draw it in pencil, but sometimes I draw also with ink. So I use a dip pen like this, ink like that. And you can maybe get a different feel for the character when you're drawing in a different material. So let's try him like this. So it's a much stronger line here. And the nice thing about drawing is you're thinking the whole time that you're drawing, and it's a way of visually thinking rather than thinking through words. So if you're a small child and you have a problem with getting your ideas across with words, because maybe sentence construction, grammar, punctuation, all that sort of stuff, they can all front load a writing task with all of those problems. Whereas if you're drawing, it's a nice way of getting into the character with none of those problems. And you're working out who they are the whole time that you're drawing. So he looks a bit nervous. It's like a natural way of thinking, really. There's nothing too forced in it. A bit more ink. And that's the idea of this, really, is to just get a sense of who your character is. So when I was doing this book, Bedtime for Monsters, this is exactly how I started. Just drew the character probably hundreds of times, trying to work out who he was and what he wanted. And I think with this book, my idea was he was potentially quite hungry. So I thought, a fun book might be that here's this monster who's hungry and he's on his way. And what do monsters eat? Normally small children. So the whole idea of this book was this monster is hungry in your mind and he's on his way to come and see you. So he's probably going to eat you up. And the whole book is sort of trying to tease you with that idea. So once I've drawn him, and maybe what I'll do is write down a few words that, so he's hungry. Does he want to eat? Wants to eat a child? ? Is that what the book's going to be about? I'm not sure yet. Where does he live? He lives in a land with, well, what? Hold on, let me see. So I can show you some drawings that I did. Let me just find them over here. So sometimes an idea nearly always will come from lots of different sketches. Okay, here's a sketch of, let me just move this, of one scene in the book. He's travelling through a forest. So it's trying to get, the whole time you're trying to build a sense of a world that this character lives in, and that they inhabit. So you're trying to make that sense of the world grow, and where your imagination can reside in that world. And I think, as a child, once you've got all of that down in drawing, you've got a very solid idea of what you want to do with the story. So just to show you how I would build up an illustration for a spread, this is a spread which means 2 pages together, so the whole image across 2 pages. So this is towards the end of the book, and the monster has been through the landscape, has gone through swamps, he's gone over mountains, he's been through the town, and now he's climbing up the stairs, going towards your bedroom. So first of all, I just did a very, very simple rough of the scene as I imagined it. So if you can see, that's the front door, that's a very scared cat, the hallway and the stairs, and then the plan is to put a big monster foot there. So that's a very loose, rough drawing. And then that's a slightly more finished drawing of how I wanted to compose the image. So I really had a sense of what I wanted to do there, and I didn't change it. In this case, didn't change it too much there. And then this goes through into, that's the finished drawing of the background, which I then scan on a scanner into a computer, and then I use a program called Photoshop. So onto the computer then, there is, that's this drawing here, scanned in, and in Photoshop you can add different elements. So a cat, for example, leaping up in Vere. And this is where I start adding in colour. So I'll put in a background colour and then some light effects. So he's going up towards the dark. And this starts giving the whole thing a bit of body. And so you can see gradually as I'm moving through, clicking all these layers on, shadows, colour, more shadow, what's going on, pink toenails, light bulb, wire, pictures. So that would be the finished artwork there, and then you'd put the text in a different layer, and in this drawing the text just went here, so I left a space here for the text. So when you're doing a drawing, it's always important when you're thinking about the whole thing, where am I going to put the text? And so I left a nice big space, very obvious space here to put all the text. So that's in a nutshell how I'd build up an illustration.